way to the Supreme Court. Berg is a lifelong Democrat, so why is he fighting his own ticket? He told me that and more from his office in Pennsylvania.
If we can't enforce our Constitution, especially a candidate for president, we're in real trouble in this country, more trouble that you really want to believe, and it's frightening.
3 qualifications must be met for someone to become president under the U.S. Constitution. At least 35 years of age, a resident of the U.S. for 14 years, and a natural-born citizen. Berg believes Barack Obama does not meet the last qualification. He believes Obama was born in Kenya, and that further investigation reveals he may still be a citizen of Indonesia. Here's a school registration Berg has obtained listing Obama's name as Barry Soetoro, after his Indonesian stepfather, Lolo Soetoro, and lists his citizenship as Indonesia. Berg says Obama's mother sent him back to the U.S. when he was 10 years old, and one of 2 things would have happened then. If he went through immigration, he would be a naturalized citizen, not a natural-born citizen. If he did not go through immigration,
he today would still be a citizen of Indonesia, and he could be considered an illegal alien, which would mean that he cannot even hold his Senate seat from Illinois. So it's really important that we all look at his records.
FactCheck.org claims it has proof of Obama's U.S. citizenship. Berg questions that proof because
let's put the mics on. Here's a great example. You see Annenberg, which Obama was on the board of the company. All of a sudden, Annenberg comes out with his records. Of course,
we know they're not
Berg
real.
points out that they have a huge conflict of interest. But look, the point here, Mrs. Steele, is this: we don't have to play games here. We know the obfuscation that the government has done for decades. We've watched it with the JFK assassination, the RFK assassination, Martin Luther King, Watergate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Iran-Contra, Colonel North, General Secord, and all the nonsense, the lies. The lies are coming out of the U.S. government are so great. This is obvious. Obama, Mr. Obama, is an illegal alien. He was not born in the United States. He was not naturalized. He's not a natural citizen. And according to the Constitution of the United States, he is ineligible to be the president. Now, why? Why put a man like that in office? Simple. If he doesn't obey the orders given by him, by his masters, to him, by the Vatican, then he's easily removed. Matter of fact,
you mean he's not extortion friendly?
The key is this: if you have to remove a person who actually has the qualifications to be the president, you have to do it by impeachment. Mm-hmm. That takes time.
It does.
A man who is ineligible for the presidency, that you don't have to go through an impeachment process to remove him, because by definition, he never was president.
You just kick him out.
You just kick him out.
That's
exactly.
It.
Now, will they do it? Probably not, because
I don't think so.
The junta and the junta that took over the Dealey Plaza coup d'etat and junta and regime that took over, the fascist regime that took over on November 22nd, 1963, unless you remove them by a revolution, you will not be able to return to the Constitution or the rule of law. So in the United States, the only thing that's going to save us is a true revolution, meaning an overthrow of the gang, the treasonous, traitorous gang that took over by the bullets.
Are you talking about a reverse coup d'etat?
Yeah, we need a reverse coup d'etat.
A reverse coup d'etat.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a bloodless one.
Well,
can you do that?
I don't think it can happen that way. I don't think it will work that way.
How do you think it will be?
I don't think there will be.
Can we do an intellectual coup d'etat?
I don't think they will have one.
No.
I think the only way you can have it is by a bloody revolution, and I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Anyways, you had a little clip that we watched.
By the way, McCain was also ineligible to be the president.
What was the reason behind that?
He was born in Panama.
That's right. I remember that.
So what they did is they decided, you know what? We'll let there be fair elections, quote unquote, because we have both we've got the Republican in our pocket and the Democrat in our pocket. So whoever gets elected is ineligible to be the president. We'll put them in the office, and then we'll remove them if we don't like what they're doing.
You know what that McCain is doing? He's trying to implement the Codex Alimentarius bill.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Well, it's, the Dietary Supplement Safety Act of 2010, right? Section 3002. So Senators John McCain and Byron Dorgan. It's a direct assault on natural health freedom, okay? Basically, it's going to ban nutritional supplements by the FDA and the introduction of deceitful reporting of adverse events related to them. And we know that healthy vitamins, natural source ones, don't make you sick. It's big pharma drugs that kill people.
Yeah.
So, it's the same as our C61 bill here in Canada, trying to control the natural food, vitamins and healthy supplements. They're all out there and they're trying to take control.
Well,
and that's McCain.
Back to this story of the Associated Press answering climate change skeptics. It says the articles from Geneva. It says world weather agencies have agreed to collect more precise temperature data to improve climate change science, officials said Wednesday, as UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, listen to this guy. Ban Ki-moon. They ought to ban Ban Ki-moon. Urged environment ministers to reject efforts by skeptics to derail a global climate deal. You see, they don't care about the truth. They want a deal, and they want to push forth this nonsense.
They want carbon credit money, don't they?
Can you put this up? This is this quote. I don't know.
You know what? I've got one here on that. It's by LaRouche. British admit Copenhagen is all about genocide, and this was December 13th, 2009. What is the date of this article?
This says global warming is and always was a policy for genocidal reduction of the world's population. The preposterous claim that human-produced carbon dioxide will broil the earth, melt the ice caps, and destroy human life came out of a 1975 conference in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, organized by the influential anthropologist Margaret Mead, president of the American Association for the Advancement of Science. This whole business about a human-produced carbon dioxide global warming is absolute nonsense.
It's a hoax.
It's a hoax, and they're trying to push it because, why? Because they want to depopulate the planet, and deindustrialization can only be done if you bring in people, you change the paradigm to a false paradigm, and you get people believing that human industrialization is bad for the planet. And this is the nonsense they're trying to push over on the people.
In 2009,
it's shocking that the people believe this nonsense.
It's shocking. There's an organization called the Optimum Population Trust, and it's OPT. Calls for the reduction of world population by between 3 to 5 billion people between now and 2050. So this flagrant call for mass extermination is based on the argument that the single greatest cause of global warming is overpopulation, and that the most cost-effective cure for global warming is radical population reduction. So they actually have an organization. And I mean, it's the eugenics movement. Margaret Sanger was in charge of that eugenics movement, wasn't she?
Yes.
I mean, good old Margie. There you go. I mean, they've been planning this for a long time.
Now, Mrs. Steele, do you think this ship sinking
that's part of the warfare, I think.
It's part of the warfare?
Yeah.
I mean, we said
luckily,
it last
nobody
week.
Died on that ship,
If
though.
you look
they
at
all
more and more
survived.
of the reports, it looks like very much like this was...
Yeah, it was capsized.
Capsized by some HARP equipment.
I think so.
Speaking of HARP equipment, maybe we can zero in on this. Let's not forget, when we get a quote like this, let's not forget what Defense Secretary Cohen said, how the terrorists, eco-terrorists, can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, and they have this technology. Let's not forget about these statements these guys have made.
So we know that, I mean, it's happening right now. You know what?
Absolutely.
Chavez is having some problems. They have drought conditions. The dams are drying up. They're trying to create clouds to create rain.
So they're using eco-terror against Chavez.
They are.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's another example right there.
Yeah.
Did you know, George was talking about this